back to my channel. I just wanted to give a quick little drop in here and let you know what I was working on. So right now, as you just saw, I'm working on a pair of socks. I am working on these socks here, these beautiful cable cozy socks. This is actually a test knit that I'm doing, and I'm going to be doing, or I am doing this rather, for a designer called Dayna. She's over at This Yellow Farmhouse. I'll put her information in the box, the description box, excuse me, down below, so you can see that if you'd like. But I am creating these beautiful, I'll show you the picture of what the end result is going to be. I won't show you the pattern, obviously, since it's a test knit, but these are the cozy socks that I'm making. And yeah, I really thought that they were just really nice and plain and kind of just really cozy looking. So I went ahead and asked her if I could test, and I got accepted. So I am testing these. These are going to be out pretty, I think by the end of this month. These socks will be out, if I'm not mistaken. They're going to be due pretty soon. So the socks, they are a big, chunky, cozy pair of socks. So they're actually knit in a worsted weight. So it's a bigger yarn and therefore larger size needles. So they're going up quite quickly. I just started these very late last night. I didn't get very far. Well, actually I did. I got done with the ribbing and a couple of the cables, but they knitted up really quick. They're knitting up rather really quickly. So yeah, so that's kind of nice. And I just wanted to show you the color that I'm using right now. So I got two different colors, but right now the first pair that I'm doing, I'm knitting up in this beautiful dark red. If you can see that, hopefully it's showing up with the lighting in here. It's not very good. But this beautiful dark red that I'm using is a Madeline Tosh yarn. I actually bought this online. I bought it from a shop called Eat Sleep Knit. I believe they're over in Georgia, I want to say. I think that's where their brick and mortar store is. I haven't been there physically, but I order from them online from time to time. And I'm assuming that they're a pretty big shop over there, because this Madeline Tosh colorway is actually an exclusive for their shop. It's called Veruca Salt, and it's based off of a character from Willy Wonka. So maybe you might know Veruca Salt or what that means. But this is the red that I'm using, and it's the most beautiful. I think it's the most beautiful red I think I've ever had. It's so beautiful. It's so dark. It's so deep, and just, yeah, I just love it. So I'm very excited to be knitting these beautiful socks up in this yarn. They're showing up really nicely. Yeah, and I'm just excited to see these come up so quickly. I love it when socks go so fast, you know? So that's what I'm doing tonight. I'm hoping that I can actually just finish the first sock tonight, so that would be good. So that was what I just showed you that I'm doing, and I just wanted to go over a couple more things. So this morning I did a little filming that you saw earlier in the video, and that was my visit to the Meeker Mansion over here in Puyallup, Washington. I live in Puyallup, Washington, and we have a historical mansion in the city. It's called the Meeker Mansion, and the Meeker family that owned the mansion, or that built the house, they were pioneers. They were on the Oregon Trail and everything like that. So I got to learn all about that history today, and I took a tour through the mansion this morning, and I actually did some cider pulling. So I did some very autumny things this morning, but it doesn't feel like autumn over here in Washington State. It's really hot still during the day, and just really humid, and I don't know, it just doesn't feel like fall yet. So it's nice that I got to do something kind of fallish and autumny and all that stuff and celebrate the season, but I just wish it was, I wish it was sweater weather. I wish it felt more like fall, if that makes any sense. So anyway, so I did that this morning. You saw a little bit of the Meeker Mansion in the video, the beginning of the video. And then I also, after dropping my mom off at the airport, I well, I went to drop her off at the airport, and then on my way back I did a little book shopping. So I went to Barnes & Noble, as you saw from the video. Okay, so I got a couple of books over at Barnes & Noble today at my visit, and I wanted to show you what I got because I'm very excited about it. So I got this awesome book here. I saw this book over on, I believe it was Instagram, that I saw somebody, I don't know if it was a booktuber or somebody who just reads a lot of books, who recommended this book to me, or recommended it, and I saw it and I thought it sounded really cute. So this is a book by Sally Thorne called Angelica Frankenstein Makes Her Match. So Angelica Frankenstein is supposed to be the sister of Victor Frankenstein. And yeah, and she essentially creates her partner. So I'm very excited to get reading with this. Sally Thorne is the author of The Hating Game. I don't know if any of you have read that novel, The Hating Game, but it's like a rom-com book, and it was made into a movie that I really liked. So yeah, I'm very excited to start this one. It's not very big at all, so I got that. And I got this other book here that I'm actually really excited to get going. It's called A Court of Thorns and Roses. This is by Sarah Moss, I think is how you say her name. And this is the first book in a series. So this book is part of a series. I don't know how many books are actually in the series, but this is the first book in that series. The reason why I got this was because there is a new YouTuber, actually. She's over here on YouTube doing her Vlogtober this month, but I follow her on Instagram. She's been on Instagram for quite a while, and I followed her for quite a while. Her name is Jodi. She has an Instagram called Worsted Wolf. I will link her information down below and her YouTube channel, so you can go and check out her new YouTube channel if you'd like. But she is just a really amazing knitter, and I really like her aesthetic on her Instagram handle. And she is actually a new knitwear designer as well. She's going to be coming out with some designs here, I believe in January is what she said. So, so I'm very excited to check her designs out and to see what she's got in store for us. But again, I'll link her information down below so you can check her out. But on the pictures for her little sneak peek previews of her designs, she constantly puts a book from this series, A Court of Thorns and Roses. She constantly puts a book from this series on her pictures. And I was just really curious about it because I thought, oh my gosh, did she get her inspiration, or some of her inspiration, from this novel, from these novels? I don't know. And so she might have. I don't know. We'll see. But I was just very curious about it, so I went ahead and picked up the first novel in that series, and I'm very excited to get started with it. So that's the story behind why I got this. So again, I'll link her information down below so you can check it out. But yeah, I got these two books at Barnes & Noble, and then when I came home I did a little blocking. So I also just recently finished on last Tuesday, I recently finished a test knit that I did for a woman called Casie Greve, I think it's Greve. She's over here in Whidbey Island in Washington State, and she has a knitwear, she's a designer. She goes by HighFive HandKnits on Instagram. Again, I'll link her information down below so you can check it out. I recently just finished a jumper design that she did called the Holly Jolly Jumper. It is obviously a Christmas design. It's a Christmas jumper. It's basically a design that she did for the ugly sweater contest that she attends every year at her local pub, I think. So I just finished that up last Tuesday, and I just got to blocking it today because it has taken me that long to get it together and block the actual knit. So I went ahead and did that this afternoon, and I will show you the finished product here in a little bit. But yeah, that's it. I just wanted to check in really quickly and let you know what the day was like. I will probably check back in tomorrow and give you a little bit more update, maybe on the WestKnits MKAL, because I've taken a 2-day break from the WestKnits MKAL. I didn't work on it at all on Friday or today. So Friday or Saturday, I haven't worked on it yet. So I'll pick it up again tomorrow, and then I'll share with you my progress and let you know what my thoughts are. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Hi everyone! I just wanted to pop in here really quickly and give you an update on today, Sunday, October 9th. It is the day before my birthday. My birthday is on October 10th, and I'm not really doing anything, but I just wanted to pop in here and give you an update on my WestKnits MKAL and where I'm at right now. So as you will see from previously in this video, not too long ago for you, I took a 2-day break from knitting on the WestKnits MKAL because, I don't know, I just was wanting to work on other things. I've been kind of in this weird knitting mood where I like work on one thing and then I get tired of it and then I have to work on something else. So I finally finished that long I-cord cast on basically that you do, and I knit a few rows and things like that, and then I just kind of put it away. So it has been 2 days since I've worked on the MKAL. I did pick it up, as you may have seen just a little snippet of. I did pick it up just this afternoon again to work on it. And I am still not very far. I'm only on the first repeat. So I think there's like 16 rows, and rows 9 through 16, I want to say, are the rows that you actually repeat. So you're supposed to knit them through once, and then you're supposed to repeat the rows 9 through 16, I believe 10 more times. It might be 11. I might have to read that again. But either 10 and 11 more times you're supposed to do the repeat, what's in the box on the pattern. And right now I've knit through it once, and I am on the very first repeat. I think I'm on row 13, or I'm going to start row 13. So not very far, but I am far enough within the pattern at this point, or within the first clue, to be able to see it taking shape, to see what it's looking like, to see what it's supposed to look like. And I've definitely seen other people's posts on Instagram and Ravelry, and I've seen all of the posts for people that are actually finished and other people that are slowly working through, like me, and it's looking really good. So like I said, I'm not going to show you any spoilers of the MKAL on this channel. I will post pictures of my progress on the MCAL on my Instagram account. So feel free, if you want to look at spoilers, to go ahead and check that out. Obviously there'll be a spoiler alert picture that you'll have to scroll through. But yeah, so that's where those spoilers will be. But on this channel, I'm not going to actually be showing you my progress, just because I know there's a lot of people out there that want to keep the mystery. So yeah, so I won't be doing that, but I will, you know, that essentially is where I'm at. So I'm on the first repeat. And it's going well. I think my first thoughts right now doing this clue number 1 is I've already messed up one row, and I can't remember for the life of me which row it was. I want to say it was like row 15 or 14 or something like that. I accidentally put in one of the increase stitches where I wasn't supposed to, or on a row that didn't have any increased stitches. So I put in an increased stitch on a row that didn't have any increased stitches, and so I came out with an extra stitch. And so I had to kind of, luckily I did kind of realize it as I was still working that row that I had added a stitch that I wasn't supposed to. So I just kept going, and then when I went back, I just kind of got rid of that extra stitch. So one of the things that I will kind of say about this particular clue number 1 is that you really have to, it's not a clue or a pattern thus far that you can sort of mindlessly do, if that makes any sense. So for me, like, I found that I have to really pay attention to which row I'm on, pay attention to where those increases are. I believe that as time goes on, especially with this first clue, as I keep doing the repeats, it'll get a little bit easier. I'll kind of just remember where I'm placing the stitches and kind of go through the motions. But for right now, as I'm just starting, I find that I really do have to pay attention to which row that I'm on, and like I said, where those increases are happening, because otherwise I feel like the stitch count will be off and then it'll kind of look a little bit funky. So yeah, so that's my first kind of impression with as I'm knitting through this first clue, is that it's just something that you can't really mindlessly do. The other thing I would say is, because of where I messed up on the row, so obviously the way that it's printed, every single row is sort of like, you know, the way that it's printed is sort of like, here's row 1, boop, and then here's row 2 right under it, blah blah blah. So it's just kind of like just like a book, you know. And I find that as I'm looking at the rows for the beginning right now, I'm finding that I actually have to cover up the rows that I'm not working on, and only look at the row that I'm actually working on. So I'll put like another piece of paper or a post-it or something like that on the rows that I'm not working on so I don't see them, because otherwise there's too much wording in the pattern and it'll get me confused. So essentially it's not looking at a chart, you're looking at actual words, the actual pattern, the written pattern, and sometimes when they're when they're really close together, it can get a little confusing. And that's actually why I messed up, is because I wasn't covering the rows that I wasn't working on, and I was just kind of doing it. So that's why I had briefly looked at the pattern as I was knitting, and I like look and I saw an increase stitch, and I was like, oh, increase, da 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 da, and then I just kept going, and then I realized that's not the row that I'm on. I didn't increase where I wasn't supposed to. So that would be my advice as you're working through this first clue. At least if you're just starting it, or you're still in the beginning of it, I would suggest maybe covering up. If you're new to written instructions, which I'm definitely not new to written instructions, but if you are new to written instructions, probably it might be a good idea to cover up those rows that you're not working on, so that you don't look at them and that you don't get kind of confused with which row you're actually on. So that's it. That's the only first impression really that I have as I'm working through this first clue. But other than that, I think it's coming together really nicely. I really like it. I really love the yarn that I'm using. So yeah, so that's my first thought on that. And then I wanted to get on here and share with you just a little thing that I thought of last night. I was going through some old things recently. I had found something in the garage that belonged to me many, many years ago. And it actually had all kinds of like memorabilia and pictures in it and stuff like that. It was a box. And, and it also had a lot of my knitting. So it had a lot of my old yarn and a lot of projects that I started and then never finished. And yeah, just like really old projects too, stuff that I haven't seen in years. And I found something, and I showed you a little video, a little snippet of the mittens that I found. But I found those mittens, and I just wanted to share them with you really quickly here on this channel because there's a lot of newer viewers. Thank you so much for being here. There's a lot of newer viewers here on my channel, and I feel like I've heard of a lot of newer knitters that are either on this channel and looking at like or other channels, and they're looking at different people knit the Mcal, or there's a lot of new knitters that are fearlessly knitting the Mcal themselves. And I think that's great. I think that's amazing. And I'm so glad that there's newer knitters out there that are like, yeah, do it. So that's really cool. But I have noticed a lot of the times with newer knitters, sometimes newer knitters can get a little bit intimidated by knitting. There's people that mainly do crochet and that have never knitted before, and they're a little bit, not scared, but a little bit intimidated by actually learning to knit. So I just wanted to get on here and share with you the very first thing that I ever made, and that was the mittens that you just saw, and I have them here and I'll show them to you. So some of you may know this story if you've been watching my channel for a little while, but long story short, essentially, I think it was around 2009-ish, and I saw the very first Twilight film. If you've ever seen that film, Bella, the main character in that film, is wearing a pair of brown knitted mittens in that movie, and I really, really loved them. And so I told my mom, back in 2009, I told her, hey, can you make me those mittens? I found you the pattern for them. Can you make me those mittens? And she said to me, no. She said to me, no, but I can teach you how to make them. And so after much going back and forth with her, I decided that I would go ahead and learn how to make the mittens myself. And I have them here, and I just wanted to show them to you because this was, like I said, the very first thing that I ever made. These are my very first mittens. These are the Bella's mittens. I can't remember where I found this pattern, if it was a free pattern. I know I probably found it on Ravelry or the internet somewhere, but yeah, I don't know where I got this pattern exactly, but these are essentially the Bella's mittens from the first Twilight movie. And as you can see, they are munchkin size. I have small hands by comparison, but like they are teeny tiny. They're teeny tiny little mittens. They're so small. And as you can see, the very first thing that I made, they look really great. They look really awesome, but they're just massively too small. Like they are not gonna fit me at all. They probably wouldn't even fit anybody in my family. I mean, maybe my 3-year-old niece, but she would grow out of them pretty quickly. So I don't know if they won't fit anyone, but I wanted to show these to you because one of the things as I was remembering my mom teaching me how to knit, one of the things that she told me, actually the very first thing that she told me when she taught me how to knit, was that if I can learn how to read a pattern, then I can make anything that I want to. And I wanted to relay that little bit of advice to you all here on this channel because I recently had somebody post a comment, and I can't remember verbatim what that person said, but they said something to the effect of if they can learn how to read a pattern, then they can learn how to make whatever it is that they want to make, whether it be a sweater or a mittens or you know, a hat or a sock or whatever it is. And so I just wanted to say yes. I just wanted to say that. That's actually the very first thing that I learned too. I learned how to read a pattern. And I remember looking at a pattern and thinking, like, for instance, my mom has this one just randomly in her room, Reina by HandKnits. But if you look at a pattern, it's almost like reading another language. There's a lot of like K2, CC, you know, like a lot of drop YO, you know, K1 dash F dash B dash F, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of like little things like that. And if you've never read a knitting pattern before, it can be kind of confusing. Like you kind of would look at that and go like, what am I actually reading here? Like what is going on? And I remember doing that with the very first thing that I learned how to make, these Bella's mittens. And I was like, my mom, as she was teaching me how to read the pattern, I was like, oh wow, this is like another language. It's like learning another language. It's like reading knittle. So when I was first learning how to knit, I started calling written charts or written patterns knittle. So essentially the language in the pattern or the written pattern is like knittle, and then when I learned how to crochet it was crotal. And anyway, so it was just like there's just like a new kind of verbiage that you learn. And so, but I just wanted to share with you that this was the first thing I made. It wasn't a scarf, it wasn't a hat like most people, it was a pair of mittens. And the reason why I was able to finish these, even though that they are really, really small and my tension was definitely way off, but they look good and they are wearable by a munchkin, but they are wearable. And I just wanted to show them to you because I thought, well, most people learn how to knit with like just a scarf or just a shawl or a really easy shawl or something like that. And I think that if you can learn how to read a pattern, I think that's one of the most important things in learning how to knit. And I just wanted to show these to you so that you won't be discouraged and that you can see these and know that you can really make anything that you want. So I know that I made these, and then I realized that they were too small. So I went ahead and started making another pair that is obviously much larger and that are still really small, but they will actually fit me. So they will fit my hand. They are exactly the size of my hand. So I do have small hands, but yeah, so I obviously never finished the thumb on these for whatever reason, but I will definitely finish that because I'm very curious to see how different my knit stitches look from the very first thing I made as to how they look now, like 12 years later. So yeah, I'm just, I don't know, I was just feeling really nostalgic about my little mittens and little things that I found and learning how to knit, and I was getting inspired with all the new people that are on this channel. And I just wanted to throw out a word of encouragement to let you know to be fearless, really, when you learn how to knit. I want you to be fearless. I want you to not be intimidated or scared with anything that you see. And if there's, you can always ask someone too. So if you ever see something that you're like, I have no idea what this means, or I have no idea how to do this, there's always a YouTube video on it. I find there's always somebody that's already explained it before, but you can always reach out. You can always reach out to me or a knitter in your family or a knitter that you found on Instagram or just somewhere else online. You can always reach out to somebody and get the help that you need. So I just wanted to share that word of encouragement, let you know that as long as you know how to read a pattern, you really can just make anything that you want to. It might not look perfect, like my mittens don't look perfect, but I could totally wear these, not these. I could totally wear these, but I did make them and they would be good for somebody. So yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there and let you know that as I end this video. It's not going to be a particularly long one, obviously, because I didn't do too much filming over the weekend, but I hope you enjoy it nonetheless. I hope that it's enjoyable to watch the vlogs. I've gotten a lot of new viewers, like I said, and a lot of comments. So I hope that you all can come back. I really enjoy reading comments from new people and all people, really. And yeah, I'm just so excited to have everybody here. Thank you so much for watching my videos. I can't wait to get started with the rest of clue number 1. I can't wait to finish this clue, actually. And I can't wait to see the next coming clue on Thursday. That is when I will be back with another video. I will post another video on Thursday. I will update you on the progress, probably late Thursday, just FYI. But I will update you on my progress with clue number 1, and I will let you know what my first impressions of clue number 2 are. So that's it for me. That's it for now. I will see you guys on Thursday. Okay? Happy knitting!